All I do is win, no matter what. Oh, man, I don't even know how the notes are. I'm just yelling. Welcome to the Daily Grind. I'm sorry. One of these days I'm going to take singing lessons, and it's not going to suck in the morning. I am your host, Luke Atmaker, and we got a dub last night, boys. Everybody, we won. For those of you joining us for the first time, it's Thursday. On Thursdays, I got Rusty with me, but we got a special guest today for the first time ever on the Daily Grind. Got Parish Sharkey. How are you, brother?
I am doing well. How y'all guys are doing?
Better after a dub that was hard to watch. It was a weird game, man. I just, for those of you who did not watch or who are unaware, let me start with this. Parish, you are the beat reporter for Bluff City Media. You are a guy. I mean, I'm a big fan, been a fan for a while. I think you're, one of the best we got here in the company. What did you? I just want to give it to me. What were your thoughts on the game last night, brother? Just jump right in.
It was a season opener, so kind of expected. A lot of the rookies, specifically Zeki, struggled fouled out really early. I think he played less than 15 minutes. He only had a couple 5 points. Went 1 for 5 on the free throw line. That was probably the shaky part. But his rebounding impressed me. I mean, he only had 5, but it was the offensive board. The things we saw Steve Adams do, he showed it. So that definitely gave some promise on that end. Jalen Wells came out the gate firing, hit both threes, but then as typical rookies, especially a second round pick, he struggled a little bit later in the game. The rotations, we go always get on the rotations, but I know Tactic said, the altitude, they got 6 games in 9 days. I understand, but it was 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, and Ja Morant still wasn't on the court.
I mean, it'd been one thing, Parish, if he wasn't, he did this last year at Dallas and at the Clippers,
right.
not at altitude, right? He was doing this at sea level at Houston, and we're still doing it this year. And some things don't change.
Yeah, right. I think there was, we were talking about the rotations. There was the lineup. I think it might have been, they played for a big portion of the second quarter where it was just like, it was like Jalen and Jake and Scotty, and it's like, whoa, and they stayed in for a long time. And Conchar and BC, and I love BC, but BC was out there just shooting threes, and it's like, whoa, let's find it out. Let's figure out our pace. Let's figure it out, guys. Like, this is a team. The Jazz are supposed to be bad. They're supposed to be tanking, and they didn't play like it yesterday.
No, of course not. But I will say this, like I said, would have been a season opener. I'm going to lay a lot of stuff bypass, and I think the main takeaway, one, I had to give Santi his flowers. I know, especially on the same show, Kenny, saying we kind of get hard. We get Chris Ingram, we all get Santi a hard time, but he came out there yesterday, 27 points, so I definitely had to give him his flowers before I continue on. Desmond Bain got going in the second half, so he did things we expect him to do, but Ja Morant, it definitely showed what we was missing last season, because that Grizzlies team, especially in the beginning of the season when they began 6-19, a lot of them games were close and down the stretch, but we didn't have a closer. Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson wasn't there. They weren't closer. But last night, I never got nervous about the game because we got Ja Morant. I never got nervous. No matter when Utah tied it, I was like, we got Ja Morant. I never thought that we was gonna lose the game.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because I couldn't have said that better myself, because no matter what was happening in that game, no matter how it'd be like, oh, cool, the Jazz are closing it. We had 12, and there was never, ever a point. And it was not like that at all last season. There was never, ever a game last year where you were like, crap. If it was a close game, I just assumed we were losing because we didn't have that guy. But
look, for me, it was Desmond Bain last night in that third quarter, right? He first half, he had 5 whole points, and in the third quarter alone, he scored 10 points and had a double-digit quarter for like the 10th time in the last 2 seasons. Just an incredible run by him in the third. Like, it looked like his whole focus shift in the third quarter. He was getting to the bucket. That little crossover with the backhand finish at the rim was so smooth, man, so freaking smooth.
He was in foul trouble early, wasn't he? I mean, he had 2 or 3 early fouls.
Hey, speaking of foul trouble, golly, they ended that game. It was a whistle every other play. I'm like, dog.
The last 30 minutes took 2 hours, it felt like. I mean,
it did.
Rough. I don't know why they were. I mean, it's not just the opening game for us. I mean, it's the opening game for the Zebras too. I mean, they trying to figure out their whistle, but they were calling. Okay, show of hands. Who would have had Edie fouling out yesterday, for example? Not me. I just.
I would say this. I wouldn't have to foul out just because of Taylor Jenkins, how he treat Jared Jackson in these situations. He didn't play with 5 fouls. Jared get 5 fouls, he out for the whole quarter.
Yeah. That's such a good point.
He'll shut down Jaren in a heartbeat, but at least I said it last night. I'm like, hey, we had somebody foul out. I'll be damned. Like he never lets that happen.
Man, if allowing someone to foul out was any sign of growth from TJ, it's like, okay, we're getting some weird rotations, but at least you're letting these guys foul out. I don't.
There were 77 free throws shot last night, and like y'all said, like I said in the group chat, like this final minute's gonna take a half hour because it just felt like Marcus is laying on the ground, and refs like, that's a foul, laying on the ground, can't do that. And it's just like, what is happening here down the stretch?
Man.
Nerves, man. It was nerves. One guy that didn't have nerves, I mean, we mentioned Santi, but Jay Huff. I want to talk about Jay Huff.
I wanted to mention him too,
yeah, dude. Like, he closed the game. Like, I mean, I guess when Edey fouls out, by necessity, you've got to play another big, but the dude looks and plays the part, like what you need. I know there was a lot of discourse over that 14th roster spot, if it should be Pip or if it should be Huff. I know there was a lot of, I like both of them. I don't see why we can't have both of them. Like Jay Huff looks like he's making a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams out there that need a big that could desperately use a big. And this dude only had two stints with the Lakers and the Nuggets and is out there looking like a quality center in this league. It's really crazy. I mean, it was opening night against the Jazz, but shots he can rebound.
It's up tonight, but he played well when BC didn't play well, right? So so put things in perspective. Like he showed up, and that's not knock against BC. Like the first game, like players gonna have off nights and all that different things. But yeah, J Hub definitely was. It was needed, right? Because you had BC and Zach Edey who both struggled. So you don't have time to. You need another big man to step up. So that's good to know that we have that depth piece no matter what. And even he's on 2-way, we have 50 games with him. And we still have an open roster spot. So if you just decide and at the end, when it gets to that 50 game mark, hey, he's been playing well enough, let's go and give him a fight. They can do that. So they got the flexibility this year that they didn't have last year when they always had to cut somebody. This year you got the open spot, you ain't got to cut nobody.
Yes, that's so true. And the flexibility too of just having a solid big rotation. I feel like in the past seasons we'd be like, well, Steven Adams is out. We're screwed. It's and even before that, it was just like, what are we gonna do? There was never a moment last night, even when Edey was fouling out, and even when Brandon Clark wasn't playing his best game. I was never like, oh crap, we're struggling. We need a big. I never worried about our bigs at all yesterday. That was the least concern I had.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Huff's going to finish 5 from 3. Somebody said on Twitter last night that Jay Huff is the Bass Pro Nas Reed. And I mean, I feel like that's the perfect description of him. Like, he showed up big in big moments last night. He helped space the floor, got some big rebounds late. Look, it's nice, right? Because we were all worried, who's going to be that backup center? We got to go get somebody. And all they did was sign some guy off the street that didn't really have a home, like you said, that a lot of people were sleeping on. And he has stepped up. Parish, I'm curious your thoughts on here. Like, he actually looked like he could keep up with the pace of the game last night, right? Like Edey looked good in summer league. He looked good in preseason, but this is the NBA regular season, and it's a different animal with the speed of the game and how it goes. Because the last time Edey played Walker Kessler, he bodied him in summer league. Now that the game is sped up, do you think that's going to impact his growth and development early in the season?
Potentially so. And like you said, it's levels to this, right? It's levels to this. And he's still playing without. I know Santi played well yesterday, but having Jaren Jackson back would do wonders for Edey, right? So I think it's a little twofold. He's still a rookie, so we're going to expect growing pains. He's going to have certain matchups in certain games because even in that matchup against Walker Kessler, he had to guard John Collins a lot. As the best, he came out the bench as center, and John Collins he's a stretch big who's a kind of mismatch for him. So it was kind of just varied by game, but I think this was just his very first game. He getting used to the high altitude as well. Although he did well in the summer league, like I said, the regular season game and the high altitude in your first game, you're probably nervous as well. So it's a whole lot of different patches to go to all of that. Because you could tell similar, and not to compare them to, but how like LeBron was talking with Bronny, and when he was nervous, you saw John Morant doing that a lot with Zach Edey last night. Like it was like he was talking about almost every single play.
Calm down.
Yeah. Man, I'm glad you brought up. I mean, he got most of those fouls were guarding John Collins, right? Like, I think based on the matchup, like you mentioned, John Collins was repped all over him, man. Like they kept showing those, and they were chirping too. I mean, they both got double fouled, I think, at the beginning of the first quarter. Like I like the idea of, well, kind of moving off of that. We play the Rockets tomorrow. What are you expecting to see out of Edey for that game? Like, what would you like to see growth? Well, like it's what he'll have a day to process the first game. Yeah, thank you. Like, what do you think? What do you want to see out of him against Houston? He'll have Şengün. Like what do you?
Yeah, stick on. I think, like I said, he showed some promise to me, especially with rebounding. It's more so to stand out of foul trouble, right? So it's just really what I want to see from him is continue that rebounding, stand out of foul trouble. And I would like the teammates. He only had one play and Griffin Knight spoke about it at some point during the game about getting him the ball in the low block, because as a big man, especially a big man like him who is known to be a scorer, they need at some point you got to reward them or feed them, right? And especially early in the game. So draw a play up to get him going early, especially knowing he's a rookie, knowing he needs that confidence. Get a play for him earlier. So go ahead and get a play drawn up. They didn't do that to the very first play of the third quarter, or the very first play of the fourth quarter. Because before he fouled out, they finally drew up a play where he had the post up, he pinned his man down and got fouled. So they need to do that early. If they do that early, then I believe we'll see a better performance. But mainly the rebounding piece. He had 3 or 4 offensive rebounds, and that's continue doing that. That's what we need from him.
Yeah, and he looked comfortable doing it too. That's one thing that you want to look for. These guys just getting those offensive rebounds. You want it to look effortless. And his first game he did. Before we let you go, Parish, is anything else you want to add about the game? I know you got to get to work, but what was your favorite thing you saw all time? Like,
Favorite thing, seeing Ja Morant back.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, just like that, not being nervous in a clutch point in the game, just knowing we got 12. Man, 12. I ain't worried.
It's weird how, God, it sounds so cheesy. It's weird how much hope just seeing him out there does, man. Seeing Ja out there like playing basketball really does fill you up with just good feelings, because it's where he's supposed to be. It's where he's supposed to be, and it makes me happy. Thank you, Parish. I appreciate you, brother. Parish is going to be hopping on with us every Thursday, hopefully. Mondays, too. We're going to try to figure it out throughout the season, but I appreciate you, brother. You have a good day, okay?
All right. Y'all too, man. Appreciate y'all.
See you, brother.
Appreciate it, Parish.
All right. Now that it's you and me, we got to talk about, and Wayno's here. Wayno? Let's talk about Santi. Because
Santi, baby.
We spoke briefly on it just now. Like, he was do you think he was let's take John Morant out of the equation. Was he the best player on the court? I mean, Dez will give him some run for his money, but Santi looked good.
For us, look, Lauri Markkanen was the best player in the court last night. He 35 points. Like, I'm gonna get flowers and flowers to do. Like, dominating performance. Like, we had nothing for Lauri Markkanen last night. It's a shame he'll be shut down by New Year's, Valentine's Day, but he's a freaking player, man.
And I told you this. He looked big. He just looked bigger than I remember.
He beefed up and was bullied. Like, he bullied Edey, he bullied Huff. Like, it didn't matter, man. We had nothing for Lauri Markkanen last night. And good news, he's gonna put 35 on most teams. But for us, the best player in the all white last night was Santi freaking Aldama, dude. You asked Parish what his favorite moment of the night was. Yeah, drug testing for sure. For me is For me, it was the one-handed lob dunk that he caught and just boom, and they went into halftime or went into the timeout, and he walks off the court and goes, "Oh my God!" And it's like, that's all of us, Santi. Yeah, that's all of us.
We get it, brother. Man. And we were worried, worried. Starting the game off 0 for 2 from deep, and not only 0 for 2, they were not pretty shots. They just weren't. I mean, we were all like, "Oh." I mean, you think it was you.
I said I did not have Santi taking our first 2 shots of the season, man. That's not how I wanted this to go.
Nope. And it looked like they were designed. I was like, what are we doing? And
the second one especially, like, we moved the ball around a ton and then like try to get it to Santi in the corner, and it's like, no, we play on a basketball team with, I'm like LeBron, like the LeBron meme. Desmond Bain,
right here. It's so true. And then the third one fell, and it looked really good.
I think he went 5. It was like his last 5 out of his next 7 or something. Like, he really got hot.
Yeah. And I'm not, we're just giving you a hard time. We know, like, if we're relying on Santi shooting to win games, probably not ideal. But if he is able to consistently shoot the ball more and more like he did yesterday, that's,
I'll say this about it. Like, you think about him having our first game back being our best game. You're right. We don't want to rely on Santi shooting for sure, but that he played, Olympic basketball all summer. He played some high-level basketball. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, none of these guys have played true high-level basketball since season before last, right? Like, Ja played 9 games. Desmond really didn't play much earlier this year in 2024. So Santi was the only one that really had a lot of run and reps. And so it makes sense, if you really stop and think about it, that he's going to be our best asset of a returning player. There's going to be, like, Ja had a double-double last night. Don't forget that. He had 24 and 10. And there's going to be nights where Ja's going to score 45. But it was really refreshing to see last night that we could count on somebody not named Ja, not named Des, not named Jaren to go get us buckets and get a win when we needed it. Now, Ja got big down the stretch. He had that layup, then he forced a turnover and got the bucket on the other end was huge.
Yes.
Desmond, when Utah took the lead, he hit that big 3 and then got the assist to the other 3. And, like, they stepped up when we needed. But it was nice to get that from Santi last night when we needed all 27 points to beat the Jazz.
Yes. I think that you phrased it really well. I would say that, like, Ja and Des are the reason we won, but Santi was the best player that we had on the court.
Absolutely.
The dude, he was shooting, his splits last night were 62, 50, 100. Like, obviously he's not going to play 27 minutes every game. That's also something we need to remember, because he is playing because Jaren's not playing.
Exactly.
He's probably going to, what do you think? Maybe 20, I'd say 22 minutes, at least 20 minutes off the bench, most likely.
Yeah. He'll be in that. He'll probably take, like, all of 16 of Jake's minutes and then probably some off of maybe Scotty or even Jalen early on. Like, he's going to get some of those bench minutes, right? Like, Jake LaRave is not going to be playing come December when everybody's back fully and healthy.
Yes, I agree. And so between Santi made 5 threes. Yeah, he made 5 of his threes. Between him and Jalen Wells and Jay Huff, they combined for 10 of our threes. So I think that's pretty. We don't want to rely on these guys to win us games, but considering that we're getting 10 threes from second-round pick, two-way contract, and Santi Aldama, it's pretty awesome. I just, these are the games that we would have lost this game last season, for example. I have no doubt that we would have lost this game had just the roster we had last year would have won. But the fact that the guys that we were forced to rely on, we don't have to rely on now, and they're still coming through. It's just really, really awesome.
It's nice, man. Like I said, we didn't ever won this game last year. We've struggled in the past with clutch closeout games. Like, is it just me, or are we not a great team with a big lead, right? Like, it feels like we'll build a big lead and then we let the Jazz back in. It's almost like we take our foot off the gas. Maybe that's just some PTSD. I don't know. But, we used to always say, like, X when you need him, right? Like, Xavier Tillman was that guy that would step up and, like, he's not going to play great in every game, but he's going to win you 1 or 2 games. And I feel like that's what we had with Santi last night. Like, Santi was Santi when you need him, right? Like, we needed Santi last night, and he found a shot and he made it happen, and he got hot when we needed him, played really well. Parish mentioned Jalen Wells. I do want to talk about him briefly. Like, he didn't look swallowed up by the moment as a rookie. Yeah, confident. His shot didn't fall super well last night, but he still played confident. And what I like the most, it felt like every time Utah was, like, moving the ball around the court really well and, like, a motion set, he would tip one out of bounds.
Yes.
Or he would deflect a pass. And he was very pesky defensively last night. Again, he finished 2 for 6 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, 0 for 2 from 3 at the line. Not a great split. But just watching him play, like, that guy is going to be so good. And he's going to take all of Luke's minutes, and he's going to be a key role player for us after the turn of the year.
To be not scared of the moment as a second-round pick is really, really awesome. And the first 2 shots that he took were beautiful. The confidence it takes to take and make those, really, really nice. And you said he's going to be taking Luke's minutes. Luke Kennard's going to have to watch out, man, because
yeah.
He only takes 5 threes a game on average, and Huff and Wells combined to make 5.
Yeah. I mean, if you got guys who are willing to shoot and Jalen, I know you're a big fan of the show, man. Thanks for watching. Keep letting it fly, man. Keep letting it fly, man. Just shoot that ball. It's going to fall. It's going to hit. And we all need it. But in that same vein, we all need to brace ourselves because we shot 37.8% from 3 last night. Decent night. There's going to be nights where that's going to be closer to 30, and it's going to be It's going to be painful to watch because we took a lot of threes last night. We were 17 for 45. We took 45 threes last night, man. That's a lot. That's going to take some getting used to. And on nights where we take 45, we make 14, 13, it's going to be tough to watch. So just know there's growing pains coming. Like, we're going to figure it out because there's also going to be nights where we make 24 or 25. Yeah. Like, we're going to have some heaters, right? But just, I guess the whole sentiment of that is just we got to be patient. It's a new offense. We're figuring it out. We're not getting left behind. We're going to obviously shoot threes, but be patient as it works itself out because for the eye test, buddy, that offense looked good last night.
100%. I'm patience, man. Like, it's the first game. It's a new system. And it's already looking good. I just be patient. The coaches, I think last night was the most active I've seen all those coaches in a long time. Like in the huddle, coaching those dudes up. I feel like last season they were separate. They were always separate. And it's just
it felt like every time they showed TJ, like Tomas was right in his ear, like, hey, look at this, let's do this. Like he was coaching up TJ, who would then coach up the guys. And we talked about this group chat. Shout out TJ. He looks like he's lost a decent amount of weight. Looks good. Looks fit, healthy, ready to lead a championship team. Like he looks the part now, right? But it was nice to see like Tomas in his ear every time, like coaching him up, like drawing out stuff. And like you said, it looked like they were engaged with each other, with the team more. Like there was a different energy on that bench than we've seen since 2 seasons ago.
Yes, and I hope to. I mean, I have no doubt we're going to build on that energy. We're playing Dylan Brooks tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
I would love to beat him thoroughly. And that's a guy who went and bought his jersey, and I wasn't forced to. I paid for it myself. Yeah. But I would like to beat him thoroughly. It'd be really nice.
This was stressful. I'd like to coast tomorrow night heading into the weekend. I'll be there for the Magic game. The Magic won me some money last night. Shout out Orlando. But I want to coast. I want to have a lovely Friday night watching the Grizzlies just coast to a victory.
Yeah, and it's first night of a back-to-back because then they'll play Orlando on Saturday. So I'm interested to see. They will hopefully get Jaren back on Saturday.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to be there rocking the Jaren jersey. He's got to play, man. Got to play.
He will. I'm going to put it out there. He will play.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got you. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to play a game around here because it's Thursday, and on Thursdays we play a trap. I don't know if you heard. I just sound like I'm crazy. It's a trap. Right after this break.
I think Zach Edey played well. He got his fouls in. He got them in for sure. But we saw some flashes of really what he can do. Whether that's setting screens or just blocking shots or just making guys change their mind about shots or just affecting the quality of shots that guys were getting in the game. We saw that a lot. They gotta use him though, man. They gotta be able to find him a little bit.
I was about to say they especially the whole first quarter. It was like because I think that lob that y'all had him, that was his first points of the game. So it was like the whole first quarter. I did peep that. It was like I see everybody else attempting 5+ shots. Right, y'all gotta find a way to give Zach Edey something like at some point. Everything was running well last night, right? The offense was flowing well. It's gonna come a stretch of time where they're gonna be stagnant, and at that time, that's when I expect them. Okay, hey, let's run the post play to Zach Edey.
Tune in to the Anthony Sain Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
This is a question I don't know if you've ever been asked. Was there anyone you ever wanted to dunk on?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad you haven't getting a big kick out of that one. I'm glad you've been waiting all day for that. Just waiting all day to get that little jokey joke in. Oh, you got a joke. But yeah, I always wanted to dunk in the game. That's what I wanted to do. And it didn't have to be on anybody. I wanted it to be off of a missed shot, like on an offensive rebound, so that everyone's around or in the vicinity when it happened.
Did you ever dunk in practice and get overly excited?
Yes. and everybody be like, well, are you going to do it in a game? I'm like, no.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind. Man, it was so good to see Rob, Brev. It just good to see Pete. It's just good to see all of them out there, man.
We got our first hammer and nail coffin of the year. Like it was really cute. Like, so Maggie is kind of newer to, like, she liked the Grizzlies and followed them, but like, God bless her, she has watched more sports independently by herself this year than she's ever in her whole life. So thank you for your support, sweetheart. But last night when Brev popped up, she's like, "That's Brevin Knight." I'm like, "It sure is."
It is.
Like, that fish next to her, and she was like, "I've seen them on the show in the commercials." It was funny.
Yes. Oh man, there is something really nice, like when your partner like chooses to do it. It's just cool, and then you see them fall in love with it too. It's really cool.
She watched the game with me last night like a champ, man, and I appreciate her for sure. Like, just be there supporting me and all my goofy shows. So awesome. Maggie, you get your flowers here too on this show.
Heck yeah. You catch. I mean, we got Pete, Rev and Raw, man. You catch them. They got Night Court. Night Court is on our network. It's every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Not p.m. It'd be weird. We've got the Noble Oven podcast. It's Mondays at noon. We've got the Grizz 901 live. Grizz
After Dark, Grizz season last night, baby.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go.
It was so good.
Yeah,
it was so good. And I love it. It's the only good thing about these West Coast games because it really does. It's like, well, it's late. Let's just see what happens. It's awesome.
Oh, so good, man.
And we got the $2 Sports Show. That's tomorrow, Fridays at 3.
Mm-hmm. Fridays at 3, yes, sir. Dropping tomorrow. We've got new, so quick little shout out to we're this year. So last year we did insider insights and game previews in written form. They were great. Luke wrote a ton of great articles for us last year. Did an awesome job. This year we're transitioning those to more short form videos. So there will be one dropping with a familiar face that you may or may not see on the screen right now. We'll be dropping this morning with some insider insights of the game last night. It's a ton of fun. It's a new thing we're trying out. Shout out to Luke and Kenny and the boys for coming up with these ideas. They're doing a great job keeping our network fresh.
I'm really excited for this just because we got a good rotating cast of people on this network. It's got a strong cast. I'm really excited. Not to blow air up our own skirts, but I'm excited. In case you didn't know, I'm wearing a skirt. But back to our show. And I guess you can find all this at bluffcitymedia.co. I should say that. Back to our show. On Thursdays, we like to honor the great Rear Admiral Akbar. I also have his there he is. He's on my desk. I don't know why his hands are like that. It looks weird. He sits on my desk just to remind me that he is a part of the show. But we honor him and play a game. Every Thursday, we play a game called Is Your Trap? There are very few rules. The rules are, I will give you, the guest, a series of trivia questions. Half of them will be fake and half of them will be real. Your job is to tell me which ones are traps, and which ones are real. You just say yes. You know the rules. You're good. You're good at this. Today's theme are in honor of our horror slasher movies. We're doing slasher movie villains, horror movie villains. And just actually more than that, it's just kind of slasher horror movies in general. Just kind of a big umbrella of all of them. All right. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Question number 1. What horror movie is credited with introducing the concept of a final girl, the character who survives all the slasher's attacks?
Yes. Is it Halloween? Was it Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween?
Close. So there's 2 schools of thought on this. It's either Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, yeah, that tracks. Yeah,
I think that Halloween popularized it, but technically Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's fair. Tomatoes. You're right. Yeah. So it is. I got points. It's all about.
You get points. You get points. It's all that matters. Next question. What early 1970s slasher movie featured a killer using a rubber chicken as a weapon, and it was actually a giant comedy?
It's a trap.
That's a trap. The weird thing about this series of questions, though, there's some weird horror movies out there. So I don't know.
You got to be careful because that could be
careful.
a thing.
All right. Question number 3. Which film is considered the first true slasher movie and heavily influenced the genre?
Yes.
Yep. Oh, wait.
I mean,
it's not a trap. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, it's real.
It's real.
Yeah. I mean, you like what was first? I mean, was it first? Was it
Psycho? I think Psycho.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I guess these are subjective.
Good.
Yeah. Well, which 1980s slasher film introduced a killer that initially misleads the audience into thinking a man with a hockey mask is the killer, but at the end it ends up being his mama?
Yes, that is the original Jason Voorhees movie, Friday the 13th, and what a sneaky twist,
dude. When it's his mom, I got questions about how the mom can do that, but that's neither here nor there. Next question: which slasher film features a villain who only kills his victims on leap years?
It's a trap.
It is a trap. It'd be a weird movie. It's like every 4 years someone dies. Like, I don't
and look, man, you got to be careful asking questions about horror movies because if you ask 2 questions, the whole thing unravels. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's just 2 questions and the whole plot unravels.
It's so true. And I'm looking at these. It's like, oh, man, you're right. You are right. I can't do that with any of these. Which obscure 1980s horror film does the protagonist survive by talking to ghosts on a harmonica?
It's a trap.
That's a trap. That movie sounds bad. It's just bad. I don't think it'll be good. Next question. Yeah, it's like, no, thank you. Which 1980 slasher film introduced? Wait, no, wrong segment. Which 1978 film popularized the slasher genre and introduced the iconic killer Michael Myers?
Yes.
Yep. You get it. Man. I love Halloween's. I might watch that tonight. I love that movie.
Great movie, man.
Okay. What 1990 slasher film was set entirely on a cruise ship, with the killer targeting passengers on a 3-hour haunted tour?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It'd be like Haunted Gilligan's Island, which I would watch.
I would watch. 100%.
Man, why do we give these ideas away for free? That's a good one.
We need this in the green room, not here. Repeating
for real before we
off air.
It's like he's just giving these away. All right, 2 more questions. Which director revitalized the slasher genre in the 1990s with the meta horror films Scream and Ghostface?
Yes. Wes Craven.
Guy, it's you.
Let's go.
You know what you're doing. You're getting these right. All right, final question. Which 1984 horror movie was infamous for having every kill happen in a game of musical chairs?
It sounds kind of good, but it's a trap.
It's a trap. Can you imagine just one room where they're like, oh my God, who's doing this? Start to be I would watch it. Dude, you not only did you get all the questions right, but you answered most of them. I don't have my board, but Drew's in last. So that's
all that matters.
It's all that matters. Drew is still firmly sitting in last. That's going to do it for our show today. Thank you for joining us, y'all. Wayno, King Meeks, Trap King.
Let's go.
DG. Thank you all. Parish. Thank you.
Oh, man, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for hopping on with Parish. Parish is going to be back Monday. Hopefully, it will definitely next Thursday with us. Just thank you guys. We love doing this. The season's back. Love getting to hang out with you guys. It's awesome. We're going to have more fun now because we're not going to just come on here looking for things to talk. It's going to be great. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a good day today at work, or if you're going to sleep, have a good sleep. If I can leave you with 2 things today, just 2 little things. Remember to be a little bit weird and remember to smile. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.